Chinese President Xi Jinping is in Vietnam. This is his first visit to the nation in 6 years. Xi will pay homage to the late communist leader Ho Chi Minh. Later in the day, the two countries are expected to sign a joint declaration on diplomatic relations, which was first shown to journalists on Tuesday. China and Vietnam signed 37 agreements on Tuesday as Xi pledged closer ties between the two nations. The visit comes after US President Joe Biden's visit to Vietnam in September, underscoring the growing importance of Southeast Asia's manufacturing hub amid rising trade tension between the world's two largest powers. DD India correspondent Andrew Wood joins us from Hong Kong. Andrew, good morning. Just to get us more on how important is this visit, because this is for the first time in 6 years that the Chinese president is in Vietnam, and also 37 agreements have been signed between the two sides. Spell out more on the significance of the visit first.
Well, I think you've summed it up quite well, the significance of the visit. But let me also say that China has been worried that Vietnam has been drifting away from its orbit. Remember, Vietnam has agreed that it now has comprehensive strategic partners in Japan and America. It's calling them comprehensive strategic partners. Now, that's the highest designation that Vietnam gives in diplomatic terms in its relations with other countries. And China has been a bit, well, upset that it hasn't had that designation as well. And so from this meeting, in the signing we're expecting later today, that will be formally declared, that Vietnam will declare its diplomatic relations on a level with Japan and the United States. They're both enemies, former enemies of Vietnam, but China has not really helped itself by declaring that most of the South China Sea, including large parts of Vietnam's own territorial waters, are Chinese, and that's definitely a sticking point between Vietnam and China, although it doesn't seem to have been addressed really in this meeting.
All right, Andrew, also we know that Vietnam has long pursued a bamboo diplomacy approach, striving to stay on good terms with both the US and China. Let us understand from you, how has it been able to balance out its relation with both the superpowers?
I think Vietnam is actually a very confident country in many ways. Remember, in the 1950s, they defeated the French, the colonial power, a nuclear power, and became independent. In the 1960s and 70s, they defeated America in the Vietnam War. And in 1979, China invaded, another nuclear power, and the Vietnamese managed to defeat China as well. So they have a lot of confidence. I think now, although in some ways you might think they have a lot of similarities, a lot of things in common. They're both run by communist parties. They're neighbours. They're both developing countries that have developed rapidly over the past 20 or 30 years, although China is ahead. At the same time, though, Vietnam and China have had difficult relations going back a century. So relations with China go up and down. Relations with America are much more recent. And as I say, I think that Vietnam's quite confident in dealing with America now, both as a potential ally and also as a counterbalance to China too.
All right, Andrew, we leave it here. Thank you for joining in with those details.